by Shabbat, curled and drives and scores!
And the Senators win it.
Five apart, another chance, Melnyk scores! Great Melnyk! Oh, and got it! Green! Oh, Green again! Scores!
Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon, and I'm your host. Now, before we get started, please follow us on Twitter, @SensTalk_, and on Instagram, @SensTalk. Now, today, let's talk about Eugene Melnyk, the Senators owner, most recent interview with Bob McCown. A podcast episode dropped the other day where Eugene Melnyk had a couple interesting quotes. But before we get into that, a few things. Firstly, this Monday, the Senators defenseman season in review video drops. A few days ago, I uploaded a Senators forward season in review where I went through every single Senators forward on the Ottawa Senators roster and kind of gave a review of how they did during the season. I'm going to do that now for the defensemen, going through every single defender on the Senators roster and reviewing how they did this season. Stay tuned. That is going to be on Monday. As well, yesterday we uploaded a new episode number 5 of Sens Stonks with Noah Luden. Great episode. He went through the entire Senators roster, giving his final a review, I guess, on the Sens roster for the 2020-2021 season. So make sure to check that out as well. Great episode once again, as usual, by Noah Luden. As well, go to SeatGeek.com, use the promo code SensTalk. You'll save $20 off your first purchase. It's a great deal. Take advantage of that today. As well, we are honored to be sponsored by the premier culture magazine in Ottawa, Faces Magazine. Make sure to check out the new May issue from Faces Magazine today. Magazines are offered for free in grocery stores and select locations across Ottawa. And this month's issue features a cover interview with Senators legend Mark Mathot. Also in this issue, Mark is joined with Brent Wallace as they discuss their new hit show, The Wally Mathot Show. Also, if you're not convinced yet, the May issue has features on Gord Wilson, Megan Shaka, and Alex Medias of the Ottawa Redblacks. Also, do not forget to follow Faces on their social channels for great content, crazy contests, and more. That's @Faces Ottawa for their Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages. So the other day, Eugene Melnyk went onto Bob McCown's podcast for an interview, and as we all know, whenever the Senators owner does an interview with somebody in the media, there's usually some very interesting quotes that come out of it, and of course, that was definitely the case the other day. So I want to discuss a couple of key quotes. So before we even get into the episode, though, or the video, I definitely recommend you listening to the interview in its entirety. I'll put a link in the description below for that. I definitely recommend you checking it out. It's definitely interesting to listen to. Now, the Gatineau Senators, to you, that may sound crazy, but in reality, it's definitely a possibility. Here's what Eugene Melnyk had to say about the potential of Ottawa Senators moving across the river to Gatineau. He said this: "I like it out in Canada, but if I can't get anything done there, I've also had proposals of still staying in the Ottawa area, but going across the river into Gatineau." A couple things. Firstly, he did mention most of the time in that interview about arena for the Ottawa Senators in the future, that about 75 to 80% of that for sure would be, like a 75 to 80% chance of that would be happening in Canada. The other 20, 25%, 30% he said would happen in Gatineau. So there's still a very good shot that the team will stay in Ottawa. He said very likely in Canada. And he discussed the original proposal for the Palladium, which is of course not the Canadian Tire Center, where in the 90s when they were building it, the original idea was to build bars, hotels, and really create a whole scene around the arena, to get fans to come and you have to go out for dinner, go to a bar, create an experience, right? But they, of course, didn't do that, as you know. There's really nothing there except a parking lot and a few dentistries around. So there's really nothing around. So what Eugene Melnyk said in the interview, of course, more importantly, said that he would potentially move the team across the river, which we'll speak about in a second. But he did say a lot during the interview that he would build up around his current land in Canada and would build bars, hotels, and everything, which I think would be a great idea. Listen, if you can't put a team downtown Ottawa, definitely build and work with what you got. I think you can definitely make it work in Canada if you build it up there. You need bars, you need hotels, you need everything. But if you can make it an experience to go to a game, it can work. Obviously, that's not ideal, and this is why it would be a shame for the Senators to not build their new arena in LeBreton Flats. It has the perfect location. It has immediate access to the LRT, and would help Ottawa's local economy boom. So it would be a damn shame for Ottawa to move its team, for Eugene Melnyk to move its team to Gatineau. And now let's speak about that. Are the Ottawa Senators going to become the Gatineau Senators? Let's talk about it. No, they're not going to become the Gatineau Senators. It would be so stupid on multiple levels. Listen, Ottawa definitely has some good fans in Gatineau. But here's the thing. There's a lot of issues that come into play. Firstly, the traffic. Fans in Orleans, a lot of fans in Canada. We got to remember about the Sens fans in Canada for sure. That's a good portion of their season ticket base. So if you're going to move it across the river into Gatineau, say goodbye to, I'd say, at least half of those season ticket holders. And then Orleans, and even some fans in Barhaven and in Nepean would not want to drive in mid-February for a game against the Minnesota Wild across the river to Gatineau. So the location and traffic is a big reason why this just cannot happen. With the traffic, the bridges would be clogged. It would be impossible to get in and out of Gatineau. It would be utter chaos in downtown Hull and Gatineau after a Sens game. And on top of that, there's no LRT. So you would have to rely on busing, but of course there's not enough bridges, so you got to invest in infrastructure. There's a lot of things that go into play in this, and I just don't see it happening. And on top of that, the location too. Of course, the traffic would be immense. It'd be nearly impossible to get in to a game and out of a game, almost as bad as it is right now. But more importantly, location. Where are you going to put the arena? You're not going to put it right on the shore, of course. There's not really much land. So you're going to have to put it deeper into Gatineau, which, of course, puts a longer drive or commute to the fans in Canada, a longer commute to the fans in Orleans, in the fans in Barhaven, the fans in Nepean. It doesn't really help much for the Ottawa Senators. They might as well just keep it in Canada. So Gatineau really doesn't make sense because the arena would likely be deeper into Gatineau, not in Hull and downtown Gatineau. The traffic, like in the bridges, for example, would be crazy. And also, in all reality, this is likely a negotiation tactic of some kind from Eugene Melnyk. Maybe he wants to get some city financing for a future downtown arena. It's with this threat to go to Gatineau, he's basically threatening to move the economics of the team and what the value of the positive economics his team brings to the city of Ottawa. He's threatening to move that to Gatineau, which of course would be a huge loss to the local economics for the city. You're talking about bars potentially closing because of that. You're talking about restaurants, hotels, everything. It's definitely a huge effect of the team moving to Gatineau on the local economy. So there's definitely a huge threat there, but it's very minuscule chance that this team moves into Gatineau anytime soon anyways, especially within the next 20 years. If the team does not move to Le Breton Flats, the team will stay in Canada and they will build and work with what they got in Canada. It really does not make any sense whatsoever to move the team across the river to Gatineau as well. When speaking about an arena, Eugene Melnyk said he would want to work with. He's a big believer in the Winnipeg model. Is what he said. He said he would want the arena around 12,000 fans. That's really little. That's a couple of thousand more than what the Ottawa 67s have. So I would expect around 14,000 to 15,000 fans in the arena, maybe even 16,000. That would be perfect. It would have an intimate atmosphere. It would be solid every single game, and more importantly, it would fit really what Ottawa has. The Canadian Tire Center was originally built for like just under 21,000 fans. Now it seats 18,000, which is still too many. Between 14 and 16,000 is perfect. And whenever the Senators, or if the Senators build a new arena in the near future, the arena has to be between 14 and 16,000. No more, no less. So Eugene Melnyk had a lot to say about the future of the captaincy for the Ottawa Senators. Here's what he had to say about that when he was asked. That is what we're going to be thinking about over the summer on whether he, Brady Tkachuk, is the person for that. Whoever it is, they've got to be around long term. You can't have a captain there on a bridge contract. I'm going to repeat the last sentence. Very key. Whoever it is, they've got to be around long term. You can't have a captain there on a bridge contract, which clearly is calling out Brady Tkachuk, which I'm not a fan of. I think it's tasteless to call out Brady Tkachuk. How do you think guys like Tim Stützle and Drake Batherson feel when they see stuff like that? When the locker room sees stuff like that? When the fans see stuff like that? They lose morale. It's a useless quote. It makes absolutely no sense to call out the face of your franchise over all he's trying to do with a bridge contract, Brady Tkachuk, is maximize on his earnings. Because guess what? NHL players don't get to play their whole lives, and their career can be ended like that on a freak injury. So for Brady Tkachuk, he's trying to maximize on his earnings by potentially taking a bridge contract. And listen, I understand, and I'll say this. Brady Tkachuk is the voice of the locker room, and is the face of the franchise. I understand. I really do, Eugene Melnyk. I understand you want security around your team's captain and the captaincy as a whole. But I say, make him the captain, no matter the contract, and then, no matter what, sign him long-term for whatever he wants after his contract is up. Because guess what? He should be a Senator for life, regardless of what he wants on this contract. Brady Tkachuk should be a Senator for life. And the fact that this quote makes me think that may not even be in the part of the plan. Hey, listen, if you don't sign here long term, we're not going to give you the captaincy. If the Senators don't give him the captaincy and he signs up for 2 to 3 years, I don't know. Does Brady Tkachuk stay here long term? I don't know. I hope he does, but definitely could be a strained relationship there. So really, this quote, all that it does, it creates unnecessary hostility, and it's just unnecessary quote. And I'll repeat it again. Brady Tkachuk should be a Senator for the rest of his life, regardless. Sign him for what he wants. Give him the captain. Well, don't sign him for what he wants. Of course, negotiate. But sign him no matter what is what I'm trying to say. He should be a Senator for life. Besides that, that's it for today's video. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'll say it again. This Monday, we'll have a Senators defenseman season in review. I look forward to putting that out for you guys. So stay tuned for that. As well, check out Sens Stonks, episode number 5 with Noah Luden. Great as always, so check that out. Besides that, thank you all for watching. Be sure to like the video, share this video, cool stuff, and click the big red button down there, and subscribe to us. And most importantly of all, turn the notification bell on so you get notified whenever we upload a new video. Besides that, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Go Sens, go.